to announce this. I have a problem. Were there any issue raised?
Not from Commissioner MARSIT. Maybe the other commissioner, one had an issue with the depilation of results, and we resolved it, and they went back and announced the correct result. I think that was Commissioner Nyangaya.
In one area? In
one area.
One 291?
Yes.
But nothing from Irene?
Nothing from Commissioner MARSIT.
Right. We move to paragraph 47, 46, flowing 46. You've said you did the first one, and you've talked about the objectives.
Yes.
Now, we then move to 47, all the way to 52. You said there was a slow progress, right? And you talk about changes done. And I need you to explain, was it a single, you solely making changes or proposals? Was it a commission, or how did you resolve this?
Yes, we had a workflow plan which had been put in place, and after the first 3 days, we realized we had only done about 35 to 40 constituencies. Then we realized, given the constitutional timelines, which require that we complete the exercise within 7 days, we realized we would not be able to finish this exercise at that slow pace. So we called for a commission meeting, an informal meeting. We had many meetings, by the way, on every issue that arose, and we agreed that we change the format of doing things so that we increase the number of verification desks to 14 from 7, 14 or 15. And then also we changed the format so that we could fast track the process. We had returning officers from the constituents just sitting there for 2-3 days, and we had not been able to filter them. So we had to change the format, and it worked.
And this, you say we held a meeting. What do you mean by we held a meeting?
I and the commissioners had a meeting with the CEO, and we decided to change the format. And we also invited the agents of the candidates to brief them on the changes.
Was there any challenge or dispute from the agents?
No, but everybody agreed with the format, and we proceeded with the exercise.
Was there any issue raised by Commissioner Irene MARSIT?
None whatsoever.
Was she part of the solution?
Yes, she was.
Right. Now, through the evidence, we'll hear about some committees or commissioners you had given appointed to do specific tasks.
Yes.
Was that correct?
Yes.
Were there any who were supposed to oversee this issue of verification and the like?
Yes, for purposes of the verification, all commissioners participated in the exercise of verification and tallying, but as part of governance, you cannot just have everybody doing everything. Bombers was a huge operation. And so it put in place a mechanism where commissioners would oversee certain functions. And this then was in preparation for the tallying and the period of tallying itself. So I set up committees as part of corporate governance for each management of the center, and for purposes of the coordinating activities in the National Tallying Center, Professor Gulier and Hussein Marijan and a team of staff were in charge of that operation.
And was there a role for Commissioner Irene MARSIT?
Yes, Commissioner MARSIT and Commissioner WANDERI were put in charge of security and welfare. What do I mean by security? As a commission, of course, we have to work with the National Police Service and other operations where we have security not just for the center, but this was security for the whole country, where we deployed over 100,000 police officers to man the elections. And all the complaints were ending up at the commission. And so this was security and welfare of staff. Then we had also Commissioner Molu and Vice Chairperson Juliana in charge of a media center and the call center. So those were the major areas of operation.
And as you set up these committees and put together your commissioners and staff to assist, were there any problems or any challenges, especially from Commissioner MARSIT?
There were no challenges from the rest, except Commissioner MARSIT came and told me she can't work with Commissioner WANDERI. She wants to be her own team. So I split the security and welfare and gave her the welfare part, and Commissioner WANDERI handled the security.
That split is where I was getting to
Yes.
know whether it was out of the blue or it was a request.
It was a request, and Commissioner WANDERI also came and said, I can't work with Commissioner MARSIT.
Okay.
And so I said, okay, fine. So we...
All right. We
you
will not
guys,
go to the
split
reasons,
up. Yes,
but
yeah.
you just split because you wanted your commission to work.
I just wanted a smooth operation.
And
Yes.
as they worked pre-15th August, did any of them raise any issues?
Not as it relates to the operation of bombers. If they had any issue, then it was not brought to my attention.
Any issue, it was then brought to your attention.
Yes.
We are aware there were some announcements that were pending, several, I think 20-something, before issues arose. You remember?
Yes, there were 27 constituency results which had been verified on the night or the morning, the night of 15th or the morning of 15th, but they had not been announced.
Now, before the announcement, were those the last ones?
Yes, those were the last ones.
Those are the last ones.
Yes.
So you had done a good percentage in terms of verification?
Yes, out of 291, those 27 were the last ones.
Out of 291, 27 were remaining.
Yes.
Okay, we'll get the percentage shortly, which is just above 10%, or thereabout.
Yes.
Now, on all the others, save for this 27, did anyone raise, especially the Commissioner MARSIT, raise any issue?
There was no issue raised by Commissioner MARSIT on any of the results that were announced.
In terms of the forms, the way the forms were filled, the validity of the forms, especially 34C, was there any challenge, any issues raised by Commissioner MARSIT?
None whatsoever.
All right. Now, we go to where issues started, and we go to paragraph 58, which also appears in the petition by Reverend Tumbi, and also for Langat, paragraph 58. Is, at 55, you mentioned about attempts to subvert the will of the people as an introduction.
Yes.
You're there? And I would be happy to know why you headed it that way. Attempts to subvert the will of the people. And you are a very, very senior lawyer, senior to both myself and Donald, and here. And probably as a lawyer, it would be fair to ask, when you talk about subverting the will of the people, vis-a-vis what the Constitution expects of you. Kindly explain.
The Constitution of Kenya is very, very clear on what our system of elections through, democracy. And we, as a commission, were put in place to ensure that Kenyans then express their will, which is through the ballot, and that we then announce the winners of those particular elections. This then brings me to Article 81 of the Constitution, which is very clear. It requires that we remain independent and that the election conducted is transparent. We conduct it in a transparent, impartial, neutral, and efficient manner, which is also accountable. So as a commission, we are referees, and as a referee, then you expect that you do your work fairly to everyone. And so these activities, which were listed here, were then attempts to divert the commission from what the Constitution expects of us.
Were they then attempts to breach or violate the Constitution?
Yes, definitely, because the Constitution expects of the Commission to be independent, treat all candidates fairly, be independent and transparent, and all those things that are listed in Article 81E. Now, anything short of that, then it negates what is expected. And we also have Article 249, which is also clear that we ought to do our work without, in accordance with the Constitution and without interference from anyone. And also our oath of office is very, very clear. It reiterates all those things.
Right.
Yeah, so then whatever activities listed here are then diversions that would have made us be party to subverting the will of the people.
You've talked about your oath of office.
Yes.
And before we go to the circumstance, what exactly happened? What is expected of your oath of office as commissioners of IEBC?
First, we swear to uphold the Constitution and the laws, the relevant laws. And of course, it reiterates, it's in sync with Article 249, which says we only obey the Constitution and the law, and not any individual authority. And that is then expounded by Article 81E as to then carries the issue of impartiality and independence.
What
that our commission then, chair and commissioners are expected to be impartial and independent, and the commission in general.
Then if that's the oath of office, what then if you commissioners of commissioners then support attempts to subvert the will of the people?
Then we would have simply acted against the Constitution, and he should be held to account if one goes outside his oath of office.
It's gone outside oath of office.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I will jump at paragraph 57 because the people mentioned there are not here. I'll go to paragraph 58. Now, there was an incident at 3 a.m. on the 15th of August when you visited by some people mentioned there.
Yes.
3 a.m., had you slept or were you working through the day and through the night?
We were working 24/7. For the 5 days, I never went home to sleep.
You never went home?
Yes, I went home only to refresh and change and come back.
Okay.
Yeah, but we were working day and night, and most of the commissioners were also there. Maybe one or two to go rest and come, and so like we just had to work.
Now, you say that somebody